Welcome back to Two Shots in the Story, where we sit down with real people, real experiences, and real stories of transformation. I believe every person has a story that goes deeper than what the world sees. Behind every success is a struggle, behind every breakthrough is a battle, and sometimes the very things we survive become the very things that give us purpose. Today's guest represents exactly what this platform was created for. The story isn't defined by where she started. It's defined by the courage it took to change direction. Joining me today is Tika, founder of the Becoming Her movement, author of the upcoming book, Before I Became Her, a realtor, a speaker, and a mentor. But before the titles, before the success, before the impact she's making today, there was a woman fighting through addiction, single motherhood, trauma, and the long road to healing. What makes her story so powerful isn't the experience, hardship. It's that she decided her past would never determine her future. Today we're talking about the woman before she became her, the journey that changed everything, and how she turned pain into purpose. Tika, welcome to Two Shots in the Story. Thank you for trusting us with your story. Before we dive into anything you've built, I want people to meet the woman behind the transformation. Who was Tika before she became her?
Wow, well, thank you for having me. And I was born Shatika Nicole Rice. I am from a small town in Carteret, New Jersey. I grew up, yes.
From Carteret?
I'm from Carteret, New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey girl in the house.
Yes, I grew up in public housing. I grew up in a two-parent household. So I had my mom and my dad. My dad worked, long hours in the warehouse. He worked in a warehouse. Okay. And my mom, she worked occasionally. She would work overnights, at the nursing home. I remember my dad walking her to the bus stop, I remember the exact time. The bus came at 10:15. So every night we didn't have a car. So my dad would walk her to the bus stop so she can get the 10:15 bus to the nursing home, and she would work her overnight shift. And then she'd come home and my dad would go to work and she'd get us off for school. But my mom also received government assistance. So growing up in public housing, receiving public assistance, we had some financial hardships growing up. I am the second oldest of four siblings. Okay. So I have an older sister and two younger brothers. Okay. So growing up, we had our challenges. We didn't have a perfect household. There was verbal abuse. There was addiction. The addiction was in my life early on. It was in my community. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. So
what year you was born?
I was born in 1980.
1980?
Yes. Oh. Yes. My birthday is next weekend.
You don't look, I look older than you. I look a lot older than you. I was born 89.
Oh, okay. No, 80.
Sheesh.
I'll be 46 Saturday.
You do not look 46.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I get that a lot. I get ID'd. Even when I'm with my daughters, I get ID'd. And I'm like, I'm the mama. They're like, okay, but we still need your ID. I'm like, okay.
Damn. I hope I age like fine wine like that. Sheesh.
Genes. I guess I got good genes, right?
The breaking point. When you hear the title, Before I Became Her, what does that version of yourself represent?
It represents childhood trauma. Mm-hmm. It represents a young girl who lost her light at a very young age. It represents, brokenness.
Brokenness?
Yeah, brokenness, no standards, no boundaries. I didn't know what self-love was. I didn't know what it was like to say no when I really wanted to say no, We
all have a hard time with saying no, even as adults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when everything inside of you is screaming no, but you say yes.
Yeah. People please.
Yes, people please. Codependency.
Yeah.
I wanted to be seen and I wanted to be heard, but I was taught children were to be seen and not heard, you know. It took, I was bullied.
Oh, yeah.
You know, growing up being bullied. I was always, you know, made fun of because of the way I spoke. You know, growing up in public housing.
Yeah, and Carteret is a rough area.
It is a rough area. So imagine, you know, the sweet little shy girl who spoke very proper. I was always told, why you talk like you a white girl? Why you sound like why you white? You know, so I at an early age, I felt like I didn't belong.
Yeah.
You know, and I was struggling to find my place, being of a darker skin tone. You know, sometimes that colorism.
Did you find your sense of belonging as you got older in, let's say, high school, or you still felt isolated and felt different from?
Different and isolated, and I wanted to be popular.
Oh.
I wanted the boys to like me, you know. But again, I was different. I always knew I was different. You know, since I was a little girl, I'm a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer, you know, and that was lost. So in high school, you know, instead of being bullied, I became the bullier because I wanted to stand up for myself now. You know, I was tired of people pushing me around, and, you know, I was that little girl on the school bus who got her pigtails pulled, and I would just sit there and take it and fight back the tears because I didn't want people to see me crying. You know, that was a sign of weakness. So early on, I learned how to bury my pain.
Yeah, our community could be very tough. Our community could be very tough.
And I dated outside of my race.
Oh, yeah?
So that didn't
help
at all.
Nah,
No.
We
I was a black girl dating, you know, the blonde hair, blue eyed, you know, white boys from the other side of town, and I dated Spanish men. All my children are biracial.
Oh, okay.
So that was one of the things. Oh, we always knew Tika wasn't gonna have no black kids. We always knew Tika was.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. Trust me, I'm in the same. I got my son's half Portuguese, half Italian, and one all black.
Yeah, I have Puerto Rican, Colombian, and white. Those are my children. Yeah.
I see we got a lot in common.
We do have a lot in common. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what it was for me.
So, how was your mom and your dad's relationship growing up?
Trauma, verbal abuse. There was no physical abuse, but my dad was a very strict father. So, you know, if he came looking for you when them street lights was on, you knew you better get your butt in the house.
Don't let them street lights
Don't let the street lights come on. No, he was a very strict father. We weren't allowed to date. We weren't allowed to wear makeup. You know, he was the type of dad we had to come home, sit at the table, get our homework done. You know, you ate what he made. You know, my dad was the cook, so, you know, if he put them grits, you better eat them grits. And I used to choke down them grits. I don't like grits. I don't like grits. So my dad, but my dad was, you know, a hardworking man. He was a family man, but he wasn't perfect. You know, my dad had his battle with addiction. My mom had her battle with addiction. My mom, you know, and I love my mom. My mom poured into us. We was those kids that was full of grease. We had the greasy faces, but she was verbally abusive. You know, so we didn't have a perfect house, but we had a clean house. We were clean kids. We were fed. You know, we had our struggles, but they always made sure the rent was paid. They always made sure there was food in the house. We might have missed a Christmas or two.
Yeah. That's all you can really ask from your parents is to do the best you can. So, yeah, to me, you had an amazing childhood, just like I did.
Yes.
They provided, you had everything you wanted. That's an amazing childhood to me. Because it could be a lot worse.
Words cut deep, you know, sometimes they shape us early on. Yeah. So when, you know, you hear your parent upset with the other parent and they take it out on the children, you know, I was a sensitive child. So words like, I wish I never had you, or I wish I would have stayed, you know, home when my mama told me not to get on that train, I wouldn't have had 4 kids, you know. There was things like, you know, those type of words. And some children might not have been fazed by that, but I was, you know.
You think that affects you as you got older?
Yes.
And you held them words and hoarded them within?
Yes. I internalized them, you know. I was made to feel like I wasn't good enough. What did I do wrong, you know?
You think that affected you, how you love yourself and how you presented your love to the world.
Yes, it did. And how I chose men in relationships.
Yeah, that's a big reflection. But you said your dad you had that example as a man, so, but it was just the verbal abuse that really followed you through other relationships.
Yes, and the back and forth with my parents. You know, my dad's softball team won the game, and he stayed out late with the team at the team nightclub and came home 2-3 o'clock in the morning drunk. My mom was cursing him out, throwing his clothes out, packing his clothes in a bag, and, you know, telling him he couldn't come in the house and telling us we better not open that door for him. And, you know, so we were inserted into, you know, that chaos and that verbal abuse. Okay. So, you know, having to pick between parents, you know, I most certainly didn't want to stay with mama. I wanted to go with my dad. I was always a daddy's girl. Okay. You know, my dad like, I know, boo-boo, but you can't go. You got to stay here with your mom. And, you know, but when I found out my dad was an addict and he was suffering with addiction, it kind of shaped me too. You know, it was disappointing to me at a young age. You know, my dad was my hero. It's your hero. You know, and I looked up to him. To him, he couldn't do no wrong in my eyes. Yeah. And when that became a realization, you know, at 10 years old, what they're doing behind that door when they have company, you know, I was broken. You know, it hurt. So you've been open about addiction. Mm-hmm. How has it affected your life? Addiction took everything from me. Yeah. It took my sense of worth. It took my dreams that I had for myself early on. It took my pride. It took motherhood, you know, because I became not a single mom, but I became a mom at 18. Okay. So I had my first child at 18. Addiction came into my life, other than, you know, my first experience early on with marijuana, but the hard drugs started to hit my life after I became a single mom for the first time when I was about 20 years old, and partying and hanging out with friends and, you know, in the strip clubs, you know, cocaine was the drug at the time, you know, we'd sniff a little bit here and there. And for me, it was like, oh, it was like a superpower. I get to drink more. I'm staying out later. You know, I could hang longer. And before I knew it, it became a weekend party drug, you know, because I grew up in a childhood. My dad was very strict, so I didn't experience a lot of life. And we were poor. Once you got that freedom. Once I got that freedom, and my first daughter's father, he's Puerto Rican, he was very strict. I mean, strict to the point where this man couldn't hold a job because he was too worried about what I was doing at home with the baby. So there were times where he would call, and I live in the projects. It's summer. You're going to hear voices. Yeah. And he would leave work and come home to see who was at the house, who was around. So there was that control part of it. And then when I realized I didn't want to be in that relationship no more, I found myself a single mom living in public housing, carrying on that generational curse, getting public assistance. You know, I was a high school dropout, and I began selling drugs because I had family members that were very fluent in the game. So they're like, here, make some money, Tika. You know, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and then I had friends who were drug dealers. You know, it was so in my community. How did all this affect you and your mother? Oh, I wasn't there. I was young, and I was partying, and I was trying to find a babysitter every weekend. My girls were little. You know, my mom had told me one time, she was like, oh my God, so-and-so, she got your daughter more than you. So I realized, you know, I was failing as a mom. And then I didn't even think I was good enough to be their mom. So that was even hard, because it's like I'm not being a good mom, you know, because I'm out here doing things I shouldn't be doing. I'm partying, I'm drinking, I'm dealing drugs out of my house with my 2 little girls. And so how does this affect your kids now? Your daughter? Oh, they're amazing. My girls, we have the best relationship ever. Does she remember any of the stuff that y'all was going through at the time? Vaguely. They remember some things, but I'm thankful enough that when I was able to get clean, it was at a point in their life where they never really got to fully see me in that image. And that was one of the reasons why I did get clean, because I didn't want my children to see me like that. Tell me about your journey getting clean. I know everybody's journey is different. Yeah. Well, for me, it was being in a drug-fueled relationship You know, I was with him for 13 years, and his addiction became my addiction.
Okay.
And during that time, he was going away and he was getting incarcerated. And I had told him, I said, if you go to jail this time, when you come home, I'm not going to be there. And I was trying to get myself clean because we had a DIFUS case where the state had came in because there was drug use. So I was on the verge of losing my children. So that right there was my breaking point. Okay. And that's when I started struggling to get clean. He went away and I started to try to find resources to better myself. And I was getting short periods of clean time, but not long periods of clean time. I kept relapsing.
Instances of change and
yes, I got my own place. I got a car. I got a job. I was still living in New Jersey. I started going to college because I've always wanted to be a lawyer. So I started going to school to become a paralegal. So I enrolled in community college. And again, I was getting some clean time and then I was relapsing. And then he was coming close to coming home. And I knew if we reconnected, I was going to lose everything that I was working for. So I didn't want to lose my children and I didn't want to lose what little I had gotten already without him. Yeah. So I met someone new and I rushed the marriage and I moved to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And
so that's how you ended up out here.
That's how I ended up out here, and that's how I ended up with 14 years clean. I left New Jersey. I left people, places, things. I left everything behind, took my children, and I moved to to Pennsylvania. And that's where my life started to change.
It's still hard when you leave one place and you battle addiction. We tend to really run back to, did you ever get that feeling to try to run back? So the new guy, your husband.
Yeah, now ex-husband, but yes.
So he was the change that came in your life and that inspired you, like, we're going to walk through this together.
Yes. It was more so I was in survival mode because I knew if I didn't get clean, I was going to die to addiction. Okay. And I didn't want to die that way. So I latched on to him because he was clean, he wasn't in addiction. He wasn't the best. But
don't do it like that.
I know. However, him coming into my life saved my life because I gripped onto him and I moved to Pennsylvania. And life was hard. Just because you enter into recovery doesn't mean you are healed.
Yes.
I was in recovery for all these years, but I wasn't healing.
Yeah. What did healing really require from you?
Healing required facing my past. Healing required me doing that deep inner work, not just trying to fix surface wounds. Yeah. I had to really dig deep down. I started therapy. I started intentionally healing. I started looking at my old patterns, my old behaviors, the men I was dating. I'm still married now, but we're going through a divorce. Okay. And I had to let that marriage go because I was intentionally healing, and that marriage wasn't serving me. It was based off of old patterns and old behaviors. Yep. And I had to face that. Yes.
Yeah, looking in the mirror, I tell people all the time, looking in the mirror is one of the hardest things to do, and to really tell yourself the truth. Like, bro, you're ugly. When I looked in the mirror when I was in prison and I wanted to change, I was just like, bro, I really don't like who you are. Like, you're ugly. You're an ugly guy. Like, the inside out, the way you handle situations, the way you talk to individuals, you're ugly. So I think that self-reflection is one of the hardest things people go through before they actually reach that change. But a lot of people don't really get to that other side because it's breaking points in there. And that transformation is so hard, man. And it's constant dedication. Even now, you're still healing.
Oh, absolutely.
Many years later. So yes. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm. It's a different kind of healing now, though. It's more personal and career and, things of that nature. However, I had to do forgiveness. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive other people. And I had to learn that just because I forgave them doesn't mean they have access.
Yes.
So there was that work. There was, journaling.
Oh,
Journaling is huge. My journaling changed. I used to journal my pain all the time. Like, I'm in so much pain and I want this and this hurts and that hurts. And now I journal, oh my goodness, now that I'm healed and, I'm looking forward to, just whatever's happening in my life where I'm thankful, gratitude, just for waking up in the morning, gratitude for having a vehicle, gratitude for having healthy children. So
Do you go back and read some of your old journals to see how far you came? Mm-hmm. Do it make you cry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It makes me cry. I remember journaling about being where I am now, like wishing and wanting this life. So sometimes I have to remind myself, girl, this is what you prayed for.
And God granted you. You ask, you shall receive.
Yes, this is the life you prayed for. I've always wanted to be a successful businesswoman. I've always wanted to do important work.
Yeah. You definitely doing important work.
Yeah.
And trying to mentor the younger generation for they don't make the same mistakes that you made. I think that's some of the most important work we can do within our own culture. Mm-hmm. And what are some of the wounds and experiences that really hit you the hardest?
Being homeless, that was hard. There was a time during my first marriage when I was 4 months pregnant with my 5th child, and my husband at the time stood in the kitchen, and we were just regular day, and he just blurted out, I think we should see other people. Yeah. I'm like, well, I'm 4 months pregnant, and we're married. We're about to buy this house. Like, what do you mean we should see other people? In that moment, I knew my marriage was over, but I was terrified of being a single mother. Mm. And when that happened, I ended up having to send my daughters to live in New Jersey with their dad. And I ended up going into a homeless shelter with my son, 4 months pregnant. That was hard. The shelter was like, well, you can only be here for 30 days. I was like, well, I ain't going to need 30 days. It took me 10. And I was out in 10 days. But I had to go through that and recovery and not pick up. During that time that they were in New Jersey with their dad, and I finally got in my own place, but then we got the phone call that he had OD'd.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
So it was like, okay, I was devastated. And in a 1-bedroom apartment, I'm pregnant, I got a 1-year-old son, and now I got to get my 3 girls back. I'm barely making ends meet right now. Like,
yeah, how am I couldn't imagine being in your shoes.
It was a dark time in my life. I cried every day. Every day I cried. And my parents were my biggest supporters. And they really, really stepped up and helped me through that time in my life. If it wasn't for my parents, I tell people all the time, I wouldn't be where I am today, because they put in those long hours with me. They put in those sick days with the kids when I can't call out and I got to go to work.
That support system means everything right there.
Yeah, so being homeless was hard. Going through the divorce and being homeless was hard. Grieving the loss of someone that you loved more than you loved yourself at one point in life was hard.
So after all this, how do you sit here and say, I want to turn my pain into power?
I got tired of crying myself to sleep at night, wondering how I was going to feed my children. That pain alone was just, there's me and 5 kids. I got 2 in diapers. I got a car note. I got to pay rent. I got to put food in the house. I got to keep the lights on. And it's just me. And I'm barely making 40 hours a week, at my job. So I'm like, okay, what do? We're going to build. We're going to, no matter what, we're going to pick up the pieces and we're going to figure it out. So what did I do? I called the bank and said, come get the car. I can't do it anymore. I gave the car back, and now I'm just worried about the rent, because I couldn't worry about the rent and the car note and the full coverage insurance, So then that's when I just started building. I'm like, okay, I need a plan. So I worked at a bus company. I worked in their corporate office, and I was like, I need more hours. They were like, okay, we have a position, IT business analyst. You know how to do that? No, but I'm willing to learn. Oh, okay, well, the position's yours. You could become the IT business analyst. I was like that. Oh, my God. I had a professional title. I'm still struggling, and then a girl at the job, she had a car. She was like, I'll give it to you for $500. I'm like, I can pay you $100 a week. She was like, I'll take it, you know? So that was that
was God's blessing.
Yes,
right
you know? So I'm like, I need a car. So she let me pay her $100 a week. And it was a hoopty, but it was a car, you know? And so then I became the IT business analyst. I got the car. And then from there, I'm writing standard operating procedures. I'm training drivers. I'm traveling to Maryland. I'm traveling to DC, and I'm doing all this stuff. And then next thing I know, I'm like, well, I want to do more. So they had a position in charter sales, and they're like, you can come over to charter sales. I was like, okay. So now I'm in charter sales, and I'm in charter sales, and I was going to leave because I wanted more money. And they gave me a raise because I knew every system within the company. So I was an asset. So they gave me a raise, so I stayed. And in that moment, we took a meeting with one of the college's head basketball coach. And he told the CEO of the company, head of sales department, the only reason why he took that meeting was because of Tika. He goes, I'm not going to give you guys the contract, but he goes, I want to let you know, people ask me for meetings all the time and I decline. He said, because I've been working so closely with her on our backup schedules for our team, he was like, and I respect her. He was like, I took this meeting. In that moment, I knew my worth. I'm the only woman of color in the room.
Oh, yeah.
And this man is praising me, you know, to the owners of the company and head of sales. And in that moment, I started to know my worth. So I started looking for other opportunities to grow. And people started telling me, you should be a realtor. And I'm like, I should be a realtor? I'm like, I don't know. First thing about real estate.
That's how you got into real estate.
Yes.
Whatever.
People manifested it for me, just like the book. You know, I would tell my story from time to time and what I was going through or what I had been through. And a lot of the times when people see me, they're like, you were an addict? What? Like, when? How old are you?
Some addicts after recovery, they
look like what they've been through.
Yeah, and you don't look like what you've been through.
No, God's been good to me. You know, that's the blessing out of all of this. I always tell people His purpose was always bigger. His plan was always bigger than the one I had for myself.
So through all this, you know, you gain your confidence back. You're moving up the ranks at your new career. Now someone put the idea of being a realtor. Why didn't you just say, "No, I'm good here"? What made you want to say, I really want more. I really want to change my life?
I had went and transitioned into a leadership role and became a supervisor at a group home for individuals with mental health. So I was I was a program supervisor. So during that time there, I made $60,000 that year. And for me, I was like, oh my God, I made $60,000, you know, for the year. But I had to work for that. And one day my dad was like, I was like, Dad, I gotta work all weekend. He was like, we got your kids more than you do. And that stung, you know, I have my two little ones. And now I was feeling like the absentee parent, you know, but I'm working, I'm trying to provide, I'm trying to build a new life for us. And I was like, okay, well, how am I going to make 80? How am I going to make 90? How am I going to make $100,000 a year? This realtor thing sounds pretty good, you know? So I asked around, and a couple of family members gave me some finances, and I was able to come up with the $500 to take the class. Yeah. And I invested $500 in myself, and I took a chance.
And how long you been in real estate now?
It's been 3 years now.
I heard that shit a hard sector.
It is.
It's a lot of hustle and bustle.
It is. I'm doing it full time now, and it is a lot of hustle and bustle. But I think what makes it so rewarding for me is I love connection. Yeah. You know, healthy connection. Yeah. So it allows me to connect with people, you know, and help them make one of the biggest purchases of their life.
Oh, yeah?
You know, so yeah, I love working with people, and I've been in customer service almost my whole career. Yeah. It's just now that I get to do it on a different level, a different scale.
So after real estate, you decided
the book.
To start the book or the movement?
The book came first.
The book came first? Why
Yes.
did you want to write your book?
Because people manifested it for me. I kid you not, like I said, I shared my story from time to time, and I started sharing it on social media, and people started catching on to it, and people started being inspired by it, and then women started reaching out to me, asking me, will you do our event? Can you speak at our event? Okay. And then someone else, you want to do my podcast? And it just took on a life of its own. And then one day, after so many people was like, wow, you should write a story. You have such a great testimony. I started to kind of be like, okay, maybe. And then I met someone, and she has a company called Your Bankable Story. Okay. And she's like, I can help you do this. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we had a meeting. She went over her products and her services, and I invested, $800 into, starting the writing of my book, with a coach and mentor.
Your writing journey, like the chapters. Writing is hard.
It is.
You get writer's block.
I cry a lot.
When you reliving the experiences, right?
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I was like that too.
I get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I write because it gives me time when the house is very quiet and peace. And I've always loved words, but I never knew how to get them from my head or my heart onto paper in a way that it told a story.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning now through writing, is how to be a storyteller.
Okay.
And how to tell my story in an effective way. I don't want to just talk about all the bad stuff that happened. No. I want to talk about all the things, all my lived experiences that got me to where I am, and the tools that I utilized along the way, reading, changing the music that I listen to, changing the way I journal, digging deeper into my faith, meditation, being intentional, with my choices and my decisions, and not reacting off of emotions.
Yeah, I realized that about me too. Like when I was going through my healing journey, the genre of music changed. What you want to listen, the things that you read, people that you want to be around, everything changes about you. And then it's like you start to isolate yourself from the world. So what helped me was the pen and paper. So that was my outlet. Instead of being around more people or different people, it was, let me put the pen and paper. And that helped me move forward.
Yeah.
So that is amazing. So what made you want to start mentoring the younger generation?
I realized when I was doing my healing and I was revisiting my past, I started to visualize women that had impacted my life growing up, but I didn't realize back then that they were a mentor to me. And if I would have had more of that, I think I would have had more of a fighting chance to make better decisions in my life. And when I say that, I remember having a friend who I stayed over her house once, and her mom got up in the morning and she was going to her corporate job. She was in a suit, nice wig and heels, and I remember saying, yeah, I want to go where she's going, And then as I got older, I remember my high school principal. She was a beautiful black woman, same skin tone as me. And she was very stern. And she was always dressed in suits and her nails done and her hair and her makeup. And she took me under her wing once because she can see that I was being a troubled young child. And she took me home for the weekend, and her husband was in the FBI. They didn't have any children. And they lived in a beautiful home, and they had books. And she took me shopping at JCPenney's, and we went to lunch in a fancy restaurant. And that was a mentoring moment for me. She gave me insight into another.
All right.
We'll start out.
What daily habits or mindset shifts help you stay committed to becoming a better version of yourself?
Routines. I have a morning routine that helps shape my morning. I believe waking up in the morning, you should wake up happy and full of purpose and ready to start your day. So I always start my day with morning gratitude, meditation, sometimes journaling, gym. I love going to the gym. I've lost close to 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so all this started with my weight loss journey. So a lot of this intentional healing came about when I decided to have weight loss surgery. And I just thought, I was like, I'm only going to fix that, the outside stuff. I'm just looking to lose weight because I want to look better. And I want it to be healthy. But I was like, how are you going to feel on the inside? Are you still going to have those reflections of self-doubt and no self-worth? And I never felt like I was pretty. I never felt like I was a beautiful woman. And even journaling, I used to be like, I don't see the beauty that everybody else sees. I get compliments all the time, and I'm like, I don't feel it. I don't see it. It took me to intentionally
heal. I think once you start transforming the mind, I think the body naturally comes. You want to get that beauty on the outside too. Mm-hmm. I wish I had the dedication to go hit the gym. I just can't, man. I just can't.
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle.
It's a mindset, and now it's more so. I've fallen in love with going to the gym. Yeah. So I don't look at it as something that, oh my God, I got to do this. Yeah. I have to do this. I look at it as something I want to do. Yeah. And changing that, making that shift and your mindset helped a lot. So now I enjoy it. I'm like, oh, I got to go to the gym. Like, it's on my schedule.
Yeah. That's amazing. How was your definition? How has your definition of success changed from now to before? What you looked at success before you got here?
That I wasn't good enough, that I was never going to achieve success because of my past. Now I look at it like I don't let my past define me. And because of my past, I've developed and everything I've been through so much resilience over the years that success for me is exactly what I'm living in now. Success was overcoming addiction. Yeah. Success for me was getting my GED, and passing the real estate, exam. And that's a hard exam.
Yeah, I heard that exam. It's crazy.
I'm also an RBT, so I'm certified through the state of Pennsylvania to work with autistic children.
Oh, yeah?
So I also carry a certification, and that it's not active, so I don't promote that I'm an RBT, but if I get back into the field, I can always reactivate it. However, success is just right now. I've created my own LLC, the Tika Rice Enterprises, and that is how I'm going to build my legacy and leave something for my children and create generational worth.
Yeah,
that's success for me. Financial stability.
Financial stability. Mm-hmm. So I also think legacy is not only what we leave financially behind, but the things we instill in the people around, especially our kids, and what they remember us by.
Yeah.
I think that matters more than anything financially.
Yes, and my daughters, they look up to me now. My one daughter, she's always saying, like, you're the strongest woman I know. They love my story. They love what I'm doing. And I think going into entrepreneurship has created something in them because two of my daughters have their own small businesses that they've started. So.
Oh, that's amazing. So even now, on the difficult days, what does becoming her mean to you?
It means getting up every single morning, no matter what, and facing my day. There's going to be hard days. There's going to be not so hard days, but every single day, becoming her means showing up, pushing through the adversities, overcoming your fears, healing with intention, and finding your purpose, becoming the woman that you were created to be. That's what it is for me.
So there are people watching who may be living through some of the same experiences that you have been through. What would you say to them?
You gonna cry? No, it's once you get to the other side, it's so beautiful. Even with the bumps and bruises, along the way, healing is ugly, but it's also beautiful because you get to live in your truth. You get to be your authentic self. Yeah. And that's what it is for me every single day, is getting to be my authentic self, getting to be my bubbly, quirky, proper speaking self that just enjoys life. So,
What would you say to your younger self if you can talk to her?
that you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are enough. And God created you to do something amazing.
You are doing something amazing, though. You definitely are. And I hope you continue to do that. What would you say to someone who believes their past disqualifies them from having a meaningful future?
I would say I'm living proof that it doesn't. You know, someone once told me that no one was ever going to want me with 5 children. Someone once told me that I was never going to make it out of high school, that I was going to be sitting there with my children during their high school years. So the odds were definitely stacked against me. However, I've proven them all wrong.
You definitely did. What would you, as a mother, what do you hope your children remember about your legacy?
That she didn't give up, you know, that she took all the broken pieces and she rebuilt herself, and that she inspired the world with her story.
I think you are going to inspire a lot of people.
Thank you.
I think you are. You're on the right path. I can't wait till your book comes out. I'm definitely getting it.
I can't wait either. And I get messages and DMs from women all the time, you know, just telling me how much of an inspiration I am to them and how much they've loved watching me heal out loud over the past few years. So that gives me ammunition to keep going and to know that I'm on the right path, and that, you know, people want to hear my story and that my story is changing lives.
So what's next for you?
Making the Becoming Her movement worldwide. You know, I want the whole world to know the Becoming Her movement. No, I do have a webshop series coming up that will be launching in October. It's a free online webshop series that is going to incorporate a 12-week mentorship program for women that are looking to heal and into their purpose.
So tell me about the mentorship program. Like, how would they be able to apply, and then from the time they apply for your mentorship program, they're individually selected?
No. So what is going to happen is anyone who signs up for the workshop, it's going to be a 90-minute workshop. Mm-hmm. And after the 90-minute workshop is over, you will have the opportunity to then pay for the mentorship program, which is going to be offered at a discounted rate for anyone who attended the workshop. And then we will do a 12-week program on you healing into your purpose with a workshop book, one-on-one coaching with me, and just getting you to a place where you are now working on yourself intentionally and moving past some of the roadblocks that you're facing, you know, in your life. Journaling, you know, meditation, that's all my lived experiences. Yeah. So I'm looking to help the next woman through my lived experiences.
So if you can sit across from the version of yourself who was struggling, hurting, and trying to find her way, what would you tell her?
That you're going to be okay and to keep going. My friend once told me one day, she was like, when you're sinking or, you know, you feel like you're drowning, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. So even on my hard days now, I just tell myself to keep going. Yeah. Just keep going no matter what.
A lot of people don't feel like they can swim when they're sinking.
Yeah.
It really gets hard.
Sometimes you got to throw yourself your own life preserver, you know. I tell people all the time, I had to become the hero in my own story. I realized no one was coming to save me and 5 children, you know. So I became the hero in my own story.
That's amazing right there. Mm-hmm. I love hearing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really do love hearing that. 'Cause, man, especially for single mothers, single black mothers, we're the most disrespected. Y'all are expected to just go above and beyond, and it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. So I have a lot of respect for you and everything that you're doing, everything you have accomplished. You know, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And I hope your journey continues to be a part of something even I can't explain. Because I see you working towards that. And as a black woman, you know, I look at other black women as my mother. And y'all work so hard, man, to provide. And sometimes y'all raising men.
I am one. He's 10.
Yeah, and they can be tough. They can be tough. So I definitely understand y'all struggle and what mothers really go through nowadays. And I got a lot of respect for a lot of mothers out there.
It's a heavy weight.
Yeah,
it's a heavy weight. You know.
See, us dads, we leave the kids with the mom, and when the relationship is over. So, and it's good fathers out there that try to really step up and do the right thing, but the majority of the weight is on y'all, though.
Yeah, it's been that way for me for the past almost 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's just been me raising, you know, my children. My youngest, I gave birth to her by myself, and I brought her home from the hospital by myself, and I've been raising her the last 9 years of her life by myself. Yeah. It's just been me and her.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tika, thank you for trusting us with your story. This has been 2 shots in a story, where every scar has a story, every struggle has a lesson, and every person has a chapter worth healing. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and remember, you are more than your past.
They amazed at my progress. Ride the wave like the Loch Ness. Food for thought, Reader's Digest. Now let it process. Drop it just to keep it strong. You don't know this shit, we don't get rich.